you went to bed watching Cartoon Network. At 3 o'clock in the morning, you wake up in a very cold yet hot sweat. The glare from the television just would not let you sleep. But as you turn to the television, you witness something that will change your life forever. An ungodly abomination. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is the absolute insanity of Xavier Renegade Angel. Just needed a hand to tame the beast. Get the scent, boys. This is what you're going for. Got the scent? People, hurry! Get in the way! I'm committing vehicular hamburger helper. My wife, where is she?
Xavier Renegade Angel isn't just a TV show. It is a deranged late-night mind melt. A psychedelic mind virus that infects you with equal parts confusion and awe. From the moment it opens, you are bombarded with this high-energy, chaotic barrage of visuals and verbiage. The main protagonist himself is a goat-legged, snake-armed, bird-beaked, furry shaman who wanders the desert spouting pseudo-philosophical what did I just say? Pseudo-philosophical absurdities at breakneck speed. I am telling you, the amount of nonsense they cram into these 12-minute episodes is something to behold. This man is never not talking. This Adult Swim cult classic defies logic and sanity. It is absurd, irreverent, and somehow also brilliantly smart. I can't speak English. Oh my god. Brilliantly. Brilliant. 1 minute you're pondering the meaning of life. The next, we are watching our hero either blow up heaven or eating literal babies in a sewer. If that sentence made you do a double take, welcome to the bizarre genius of Xavier Renegade Angel. This video is gonna dive headlong into the insanity, exploring how this fever dream of a show even came to be, what on earth it all means, if anything, and why it's earned a special place in the pantheon of postmodern animation. Buckle up, buckaroo. Soul searchers and nihilists alike. Because Xavier is about to shatter reality in the most oddly profound way possible. And if you truly end up enjoying the video, please consider hitting the like and subscribe button and maybe even the bell, because that helps the channel out a ton. I really want to get to 3K subs by the end of the month. That would be literally the coolest thing ever. And it gives me the motivation and the financial aid to continue making these products for you. I know you like the Robot Chicken video essay so much. I really want to pump out more stuff like that. Just like this too, all right? Just enjoy the video. I love you guys. Thank you so much. Like many of Adult Swim's strangest offerings, Xavier Renegade Angel was born from fearless creative minds given free reign during, the late night airwaves. Because of course, children going to bed watching, Cartoon Network really deserve to see this absolutely batshit insane stuff at 3 o'clock in the morning when they wake up for no reason. All because they left the television on. Thank you for that, Cartoon Network and Adult Swim. Thank you. The show is created by Vernon Chapman and Jim Lee. Fun fact about Vernon, if I'm saying his name wrong, I'm sorry, but he's also the voice of Towley from South Park.
You think you're better than me? Huh? You think you're f***ing hot shit?
And he voices Xavier in his own show.
There's something fishy about you two. As this child's weenie minder, I am policing you now, and I'll cop you later if you so much as yodel his scrotal or fiddle his faddle. I have reason to believe this kid's lower back bottom was once treated like Grand Central Station, and I got 4 tickets to the opera.
So the guy who made the show is also the one character that speaks for 95% of it. You'll come to see that the show is literally just Xavier yapping for the entire thing. Chapman and Lee were also known for Wonder Chosen, a demented parody of children's educational TV that gained a cult following for its shock humor and satire. In 2007, the duo took their brand of surreal, no-holds-barred comedy to Adult Swim, a network famous for being the internet of television, where no idea was too weird or too dark. Within this practically anything-goes environment, Xavier Renegade Angel premiered at midnight on November 4th, 2007. Attribution. It aired for just 2 seasons, unfortunately, with 20 11-minute episodes, all the way till April of 2009. Adult Swim really was the perfect home for Xavier's lunacy. The channel had already built a reputation for experimental, boundary-pushing shows, and Xavier absolutely pushed those boundaries to the breaking point. There are a lot of jokes in here that I cannot believe aired on television ever. The series' lo-fi CGI animation handled by Studio Cinematico intentionally resembled this early 2000s video game style. This would fit right at home on like the PlayStation 2, giving it this crude, unsettling visual nature. Which, you know, a little personal fact here, when I saw this show as like a little wee lad, probably like 10, 12 years old, because I was already watching Adult Swim because, you know, I'm already a crazy person, I guess. I could barely even watch this show like to stomach it because it's that ugly. It really is ugly. It is not a pretty thing to look at if I'm being honest, but that's part of the charm. Anyway, so this like 90s CGI look makes you drop your guard, right? But then it just hits you with this mile-a-minute insanity. Every single word in this show is a joke with this like mock spiritual nonsense and fake existential wordplay. It's simultaneously intelligent and offensive.
I'm putting you out to work the field.
Whippity whippity whoa.
In other words, Xavier was unlike anything else on TV, and to be honest, probably still is unlike anything else that has ever aired on television. And I would know, I watch some weird shit, even by Adult Swim standards. The network's encouragement of rule-breaking comedy allowed Chapman and Lee, whom one article calls lunatic savants, to unleash this masculine-laced, late-night spiritual odyssey on a completely unexpected audience. Not everyone knew what to make of it. In fact, most people didn't. Initial ratings were low and baffled viewers flooded message boards message boards asking, why is Adult Swim airing this? But in hindsight, Xavier was ahead of its time. It was this mutant offspring of postmodern art school satire and stoner midnight cartoons, fostered by a network willing to embrace utter and pure chaos for content. And it all started with 2 creators who were hell-bent on creating something that would mystify, offend, and enlighten all of us. Beneath its absurd veneer, Xavier Renegade Angel is steeped in philosophical satire. The show mercilessly parodies spiritual quest and existential musings, often posing deep questions only to undercut them with nonsense or dark humor. Each episode begins with Xavier wandering the desert, delivering a rambling, seemingly profound monologue that sounds wise, but is usually just gibberish. A mishmash of Zen-like quotes from spiritual traditions like Native American vision quests, Eastern mysticism, New Age jargon, which Xavier hopelessly misuses and mangles.
Yin, yang. This world is stitched from a ballet of opposing forces. What's the opposite of day?
Night!
What's the opposite of black?
White!
What's the opposite of salt?
Pepper!
No, they're just 2 spices trying to get by.
Liam, you got me!
The show pokes fun at how easily these deep-sounding platitudes can collapse into absurdity. Xavier's signature question, "What doth life?" is a mock-profound mantra he repeats in his quest for meaning, encapsulating the show's satire of our urge for cosmic meaning in a senseless world. Thematically, Xavier operates in a tradition of philosophical absurdism. It takes the idea that human attempts to find order or purpose are inherently comic and futile, and pushes it to outrageous extremes.
Out! Be careful! A sword is a door! The swords of your suffering can stab!
Time and time again, Xavier earnestly tries to help, trying to fix a problem, trying trying to enlighten somebody, only to unleash chaos and destruction, as if the universe is laughing at his delusions of grandeur. In many episodes, in fact, probably all of them, lofty concepts are juxtaposed with completely grotesque outcomes. A lesson of, the cycle of life ends up creating a literal monster, or a quest to find purity might end in incest. There's incest in the show. Of course there is. It's an Adult Swim, so why wouldn't there be? The show satirizes everyone. Organized religion, new age gurus, and secular do-gooders alike. Xavier will accidentally start a war between Native American spirits and cowboy ghosts. Another one sees him converting an entire town to pretend that they're robots so these Arabic rich lords can come in and feel safe in America, but then they start using Sharia law on them, so now he has to save the town people by flooding the place with the lotion that the town is known for, which puts everything back in time, and then the Arabic people are T-Rexes for some reason, and when they get shot by the town people, they turn into oil. I just spoiled one of the episodes, I'm sorry. But you see what I mean, it's ridiculous. New age and spiritual healer tropes are skewered by portraying Xavier as a self-proclaimed shaman whose enlightenment routinely results in absurd tragedy. Every attempt to find meaning is met with a cosmic slapstick. In short, Xavier uses its bizarre stories to parody the very idea of grand meaning or moral. It is philosophical satire wearing the clown shoes of absurdist comedy. Yet amidst the nonsense, the show does kinda get you thinking about big ideas. Think about free will, religion, ego, reality, only to snatch the rug out from under you with a ridiculous punchline, reminding us not to take anything, especially not a preachy pseudo-guru, too seriously.
Computer, explain.
Xavier, according to my research, something very weird happened here.
If the themes are heady, then the style and tone are just complete, pure hallucinatory chaos. Visually, the show embraces this surreal glitchcore aesthetic. It looks intentionally rough, full of garish, low-budget CGI that frequently breaks the laws of physics and logic. Characters morph, scenery goes batshit crazy, completely without warning, like a digital fever dream.
And now I ramble forth on my endless journey to be the greatest AIDS spreader of all time.
The camera work is frenetic and disorienting. Rapid cuts, zooms, and inexplicable angles that compound into a sensory battering ram on the viewer. In one moment, Xavier will just stretch and deform. In the next, the entire world is completely digitized, or pixelated, or inside out. The show's animation deliberately glitches out. There will be running jokes throughout an episode where Xavier or another character says one word, and every time that word is repeated, they do the same exact voice line, and they do the same exact, way their head was tilted. And the punchline of that joke is usually if, say, Xavier was doing it the entire episode, and then all of a sudden the caveman says the same word and he does the same voice line as Xavier. It's so funny, dude. I can't. It's so stupid.
I no longer fear your pain, fries. For in pain, I've found the truth. And even though pain hurts, you need to confront pain if you want to transcend the crushing pain of your inner pain.
Nimgak want escape crushing inner
Pain.
Ooga booga.
Hell, the first episode literally has a computer digitizing the entire world and Xavier has to stop it.
Beat your
It is not a polished Pixar film by any means. Any means. It's more like an early 3D game on psychedelics. Yet this crude style is perfectly in tune with the show's tone. The weird off-putting visuals enhance the comedy and its unsettling atmosphere by looking somewhat wrong. or unrefined. The animation primes us to expect the unexpected. Tonally, Xavier is a absurdist nightmare, colliding with juvenile humor and sharp satire. The show swings wildly, from high concept parody to lowbrow shock value. It's not unusual for a deep discussion about the nature of reality itself or some shit, to just have this sudden burst of violence or gross out sexual imagery. All played for laughs, of course. I mean, the show is TVMA for a reason. Plenty of blood, gore, taboo busting jokes. One scene might have Xavier performing a healing ritual. The next, he's inadvertently committing mass murder or necrophilia. Yes, I'm not lying. The jarring mix of tones is very, very intentional. Absolutely nothing is off limits. Whether it's jokes about pedophilia, I don't even know if I can say that word on YouTube without getting demonetized.
That's my daughter. She's 14.
Ooh, nice and legal.
Racism or incest, because of course it's an Adult Swim show, we gotta have incest jokes. It's all presented in this over-the-top, surreal way that satirizes the very idea of being offensive. The dialogue is completely dense with puns, double entendre, or just nonsensical wordplay. Xavier speaks in such a ridiculous faux zen pattern, stringing together these alliterations, malapropisms, I don't even know what that word means, in this SoCal surfer dude accent. This kind of rapid-fire pun-laden dialogue is the hallmark of the show's writing. There's probably more lines per minute in this show than there is in episodes of TV shows that are like 30 minutes long as opposed to 11. Xavier will not shut the hell up, and that is a good thing because he's very funny. Verdict Chapman delivers these lines with manic enthusiasm, kind of like what I'm doing here reading this script. The result is this tone that is simultaneously chaotic and comedic. Despite or because of all the insanity, the show maintains this consistent vibe, a trippy, dreamlike irreverence, as if you're channel surfing through a disturbed subconscious. There's a layer of postmodern irony coated on everything. Xavier often breaks narrative rules. Episodes reset, and abruptly characters will look at the camera and talk to it, addressing the audience directly, reminding you that it's all a constructed joke. One episode even pretends to be made of fan submissions and literally says that they found it in the dumpster, poking fun at its own production value. The show absolutely revels in anti-structure. Plots loop back on themselves, time travel paradoxes occur, episodes reference each other in non-linear ways. This unpredictability gives Xavier a thrilling edge. You truly never know what kind of bizarre twist will happen next, except that it will likely escalate into even more absurd chaos. Yet as disorienting as it is, there's a method to the madness. The glitchy visuals, the surreal cutaways, the nonsensical spiritual jargon, all of it deployed in service of the comedy and satire. The show's tone of surreal nonsense is itself a statement. By drowning the viewer in meaningless stimuli, Xavier mirrors the overwhelming absurdity of modern life and media. It's a show that looks and feels like a chaotic nightmare, but the chaos is precisely what makes it artful and ironically insightful. Also, the jokes are just very well made. In the end, the style of Xavier Renegade Angel is as much the message as the content. A wild audio-visual collage that screams, "Don't try to find order here, just enjoy the ride." Now at the center of this batshit insane storm is Xavier himself. One of, if not the most bizarre protagonist ever conceived. Xavier is a wandering shaman and guardian angel, but in reality he is a self-absorbed, delusional man-child, causing havoc wherever he roams. Picture a mythical creature mashed up from spare parts. He has the fur and legs of a fawn with bent backward knees, a stake for a left arm for some reason, 6 nipples on his chest, really more so stomach area, heterochromatic eyes, 1 blue, 1 brown, a bird-like beak instead of a nose, and a giant glowing eye where his genitalia should be. He tops off this nightmare anatomy with dreadlock-like hair and usually wears tattered tennis shoes and a loincloth adorned with cryptic symbols. In short, Xavier looks as messed up as he is on the inside. A grotesque parody of a spiritual wanderer. Bro looks like a randomized character in some kind of video game, which I guess is what they were going for. Just taking a bunch of symbolic elements from different religions and, you know, all this mystic stuff and just shoving it into this guy. Personality-wise, Xavier is both earnest and obnoxious. He truly believes he's on a righteous mission to help people and unlock cosmic truths. Yet he's completely blind to his own deep flaws. He's naive, childishly insecure, and has massive delusions of grandeur, and is completely delusional. He will introduce himself as a seeker of enlightenment, a healer with a mystical shakashuri, his flute-like instrument of power that he barely actually uses, spouting new age wisdom. But the moment anyone bruises his ego or challenges him, Xavier turns incredibly hostile, even violent. He has been described as a near sociopath who immediately turns on those he's helping if they make him feel inferior. In practice, Xavier's attempts to do good usually reveal his egotism and ignorance. He wants to be a wise guru, but he lacks self-awareness and basic empathy, making him usually cause more harm than good. In fact, I think he always causes more harm than good. Over the course of the series, we see him commit a litany of misdeeds and outright just evil acts, to be honest, accidentally or otherwise. From kidnapping and eating babies to mass destruction of the entire planet, as well as, you know, all the bad isms and Elias that I mentioned earlier on in the video, all while thinking he is the hero. A villain wiki jokingly marks him as an evildoer, listing his crimes. It's really not much of a joke, to be honest. He does do those bad things. Public nudity, extortion, cannibalism, again, the Elias I mentioned earlier. A delusional dimwit, basically, is what Xavier is. He's not an evil character in the traditional sense, although I guess he is, to be honest. I'm not making a good case for him right now. He's more of a walking embodiment of misguided idealism. Culturally, he can be seen as a satire of the clueless, enlightened bro. Those who earnestly chase spiritual fulfillment but are totally blind to their own hypocrisy and privilege. He's the ultimate parody of a seeker, constantly philosophizing. I can't speak English.
Are you sure?
Philosophizing, God damn it, you know what word I'm trying to say, but rarely listening, quoting scripture 1 minute, then spewing insults the next. His personal quest also drives much of the show's absurd plot. In early episodes, Xavier is said to be searching for the person who killed his father, a mystery that, in a darkingly comedic twist, turns out to be Xavier himself. He accidentally set his father as well as the entire house on fire. He later, in season 2, searches for his mother, who he finds in an insane asylum. These quests sound epic on paper, but Xavier, he twists them, go figure. For example, in the hunt for his dad's killer, he goes into this battle with himself, armed with the flutes, and just arguing back and forth, bickering until the episode ends.
You snooze, you lose, you sleeped, you weep, you nap, you get slapped, you slumber, a cucumber.
And that's it, that was the season 1 finale? Like, what the hell, man? And his search for his mother turns into this, probably the most jaw-dropping gag of the whole show, where he unknowingly sleeps with his own mother, creates this incest baby, triggers a reality-shattering revelation that Xavier might have been a normal person all along, and then he's just like, it just ends. Through Xavier's misadventures, the show ruthlessly deconstructs the hero's journey. Every every time Xavier tries to be a savior or avenge his family, he ends up being the architect of his own suffering or a menace to other people. But despite all of his flaws, and there is quite a few of them, Xavier is oddly compelling. He's ridiculous, yes, arguably flat out evil, but also very pitiful. He's a lonely freak desperate for meaning and love. Flashbacks throughout the series revealed that he was really abused. He was raised by this cruel shaman who taught him all this half-baked bullshit and then flat out abandoned him. His father's death and his mother's disappearance clearly traumatized him. His mother especially, since even when she was around, she hated him. She was over drinking, she was getting trains ran on her by random dudes. You know, it wasn't a good life for Xavier. In a twisted way, Xavier's destructive behavior is born from this childlike need for validation. Viewers may find themselves rooting for this monstrosity to at least learn something or find peace, even as we laugh at his outrageous failures or just flat out ridiculous acts. Culturally, Xavier stands as an anti-hero in the internet age, a being of infinite knowledge. He consults with a living computer sometimes, but zero wisdom, full of confidence but utterly lost. He reflects a certain millennial, post-millennial cynicism. The idea that the more earnestly someone seeks the truth, the more ridiculous they often become. By making Xavier so over the top, the show holds up a funhouse mirror to all those self-styled gurus, evangelists, I can't say that word either, oh my god, or know-it-alls out there. In the end, Xavier is a character we can laugh at, cringe at, maybe even we see a bit of ourselves in on our worst days, and hopefully not any of the Elia things, you creeps. He's the holy fool in the postmodern world. Deluded, insane, occasionally profound, and bizarrely unforgettable. In its original 2007 to 2009 run, the show only really garnered a small, rabid viewership. Many Adult Swim fans, rightfully so, didn't know what to really make of this incredibly aggressive strangeness. It was largely ignored or shrugged off. I mean, the show, like I said, was ugly as hell and incredibly weird and very fast-paced. It was a damn fever dream. But as often is the case with boundary-pushing art, Xavier eventually found its people, myself included. Over the years, it has grown into a cult classic, especially as internet culture kind of moved into exactly what this show was getting at. The absurd weirdness, the irony, the satire, the satirizing satire with satire. Xavier fit right in with meme culture, especially with shorts and TikTok just kind of showing random clips of the show. You could literally take any amount of time from the show, put it into clips, and then boom, you got a nice clip that you see on Instagram Reels while you're taking a dump.
Crying lady, I'll help you. I'm a feminist. I'll make sexism my bitch. Sexism will be like,
oh, Xavier, you're so strong. Kissy, kissy. You can hit me. I like it.
Out of context clips are king with this, drawing curiosity from previously unknown eyes. The entire series would be frequently reposted on the pirate sites, spreading the gospel of Xavier Renegade Angel far and wide. This slow burn exposure turned Xavier into this precedent for internet humor. Its absurd, nihilistic comedy style can be seen echoed in surreal YouTube animations and bizarre Adult Swim infomercials that came after. In a way, Xavier predicted the rise of anti-humor and oddball animated content that thrives in online communities, many of which I am a part of because I like crazy crap. I am really screwed up in the head, I promise. No, I'm kidding. Critically, the show has undergone a reevaluation. What once was seen as nonsensical trash by some is now recognized as a work of subversive genius. By 2017, Xavier Renegade Angel was being praised for its originality, intricate humor, and absurd imagery. Inverse.com even ranked Xavier, the character, as number 15 on a list of the 25 most iconic Adult Swim characters, cementing his status alongside the likes of Space Ghost, Master Shake, and frickin' Rick Sanchez. Scholars and critics have written analytical retrospectives with semi-serious titles like Traumedy to describe the traumatic comedy, highlighting how the show blended dark satire with philosophical depth. It It is now common to see Xavier mentioned in the same breath as other Adult Swim trailblazers. That's partially why I'm even making this video in the first place. My Robot Chicken video, which you should check out after this, like I said before, did really well, so I'm doing another show that I like. I also have an Aqua Teen Hunger Force video like this too, so you should go see that too. Anyways, back to the video. The weird Adult Swim era of the late 2000s, which includes Xavier, Tim and Eric, Awesome Show, 12 Ounce Mouse, etc., has become a fondly remembered period of time when TV comedy got truly experimental. The fact that Xavier invites such wild interpretation is part of its legacy. It's a puzzle box of a show that practically dares you to make sense of it. In a nod to its enduring cult status, Adult Swim actually resurrected Xavier briefly in 2020 for a special event. Amid the little crisis we had in 2020, Adult Swim had a series of digital commencement speeches for graduating students, and none other than Xavier was invited as a speaker, voiced again by Vernon Chapman. Seeing the character return a decade later to dispense twisted wisdom to the class of 2020 was a treat for longtime fans and a sign that Xavier's weird legacy lives on. It was as if Adult Swim acknowledged, yes, that bizarre show you all discovered on the internet is a part of our Hall of Fame. Culturally, Xavier Renegade Angel stands as a symbol of Adult Swim's experimental spirit and the internet's embrace of the absurd. Its genius was bizarre and its bizarreness was genius. A true mind virus that infected comedy and left it forever changed. In the end, Xavier Renegade Angel remains as one of the most bizarre gems Adult Swim has ever aired. It's the kind of show that bends your mind while making you laugh at things you probably shouldn't be laughing at. It dared to mix lowbrow comedy with high-concept satire, to present a hero who's equal parts idiot and idiot savant, and to assault viewers with a relentless barrage of surreal. It's chaotic and confrontational, yet beneath the chaos lies a sharp critique of spirituality, ego, and a search for meaning. In a strange way, Xavier manages to be both incredibly stupid and brilliantly smart at the same time. A true embodiment of postmodern irony. For those of us who tuned in live at ungodly hours or discovered it later online, Xavier holds a very special, twisted place in our hearts. It's nostalgic not for comfort, but for the WTF wonder it sparked late at night, when Adult Swim's bumps would lead into a show that looked like a PlayStation 1 game gone wrong. And we'd think, what the hell are we watching? Is this even allowed? Yet we kept watching, mesmerized by the madness. The show's legacy lives on in internet memes, cult discussions, and the DNA of many surreal comedies that followed. It taught us that even a grotesque fawn man with a snake arm can make art. Weird, jarring, thought-provoking art, if given the freedom. So here's to Xavier Renegade Angel, the ultimate mind virus of animated television. It's the show that warped our perception of what a cartoon could be. Love it or hate it, there truly is nothing else like Xavier. In the words of Xavier himself, what doth life? Perhaps the answer is, life is just a joke in poor taste, and Xavier is laughing right alongside us. Stay renegade, my enlightened compatriots. And remember, sometimes you have to lose your mind to find a little truth. Shaka Shori! Also, please like and subscribe so we can get the 3,000 subs.